It sucks so bad when I watch an episode and it ends on a fucking cliffhanger. Like, I say it a lot. I tell you, Chibi, it's a lot, but it really does suck. Every time I'm watching an episode of Code Geass, it feels like it's only 4 or 5 minutes. And I'm not lying, I'm not joking or nothing. Like, it feels like it goes as fast as Parasite does. I'm sitting down, like, drinking a cup of coffee or something, and all of a sudden the episode's over like that, and I'm like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. Because I want to try to do episodic reviews as much as I can, because, you know, a lot of you wanted me to talk about individual episodes when it came to Code Geass. But fuck, dude, those cliffhangers are just, they're the death of me. They really are the death of me. I mean, at the end of the day, I'll tell you right now, I really hate having to wait for the next, like, episode. Like, I mean, I can watch the episode right after I'm done with the review, but depending on my schedule and different things going on and replying to all of you Chibits, I have to, you know, do that before I actually go to the next episode, and so, it just, So, just this episode of Code Geass, cliffhanger out the yin-yang, like, it's just like, So, getting into the details. This episode of Code Geass Season 2. Lelouch, man. Like, this episode, it's straight up like everything I know and love from Code Geass. Like, it uses those tactics and strategies that, you know, Lelouch always uses when it comes to combat. That's pretty much what this episode was. Getting to see Lelouch, you know, outthink his enemies and his enemies actually outthinking him. I mean, I love those tactics used in this episode of Code Geass, and that is one of the main reasons why I love this series. Besides Lelouch as an epic fucking character and his motive and stuff like that, I just love the tactics behind the fights, because it adds more depth to the fights, makes you think about the fights, and it just seems like our characters are intelligent. I like that a lot. It's not just like, oh, let's go out there, send out the strongest mech, beat the shit out of each other, end a fight. It's not like that. I mean, at first glance, as a quick overview when it comes to these episodes, it kind of does look like that, but when you dive into these fights, there's actually a lot more you can gain from the fights. Like, at first glance, this episode, there was like one mech that got introduced. It's called, Shinyu? I'm butchering the name, but it's like a Chinese mech or nightmare that was introduced in this episode, and we find out that this mech was also like the same exact mech, like it was made at the exact same time as Colleen's mech was. So to find out that this mech was also a prototype, very strong, and it's like different specs and all that compared to Colleen's, you know, a mech, it just goes to show you how strong this thing most likely is. But the thing is, okay, at the end of the day, even though it was introduced, it was very powerful. I like how, you know, we had a lot of tactics against it. We get to see how Xingqiu, I think that's how you say the Chinese dude's name, Xingqiu actually, he's using it, but it seems like he is dying in the process, which I forgot to mention in my last review of Code Geass, and a couple episodes back, actually. For some reason, Xingqiu is dying. Like, I saw him cough up blood, like, I think an episode or two ago, I forgot to mention that, but he was coughing up blood. And with this episode, it's very, very, very apparent that he is dying faster while operating this nightmare. And so I'm curious. What does he have? Like, what type of disease does he have? Like, is he dying from regular disease? Is he dying from something else that's happened in the past? I mean, we don't really know. It has yet to be revealed, but he is dying, and it seems like the Empress of China doesn't really actually know about that. So, I can't wait to see where it's going to lead off to. But judging by the way it's developing in this episode, I'm willing to bet the downfall of Xingqiu is going to be him dying from this disease or whatever he has, and most likely that will cause it to where Lelouch gets stronger, he can win the outcome of the fight or something like that. But that's where I see that going. But getting into the other parts of this episode, at the end, the Chinese Federation decided to do a little bit of a backstab to Xingqiu, and I'm like, you fucking little bastards. Like, whoa, that's just dickish. So, in this episode, as we know at the beginning of the episode, you had where Xingqiu and his entire group was trying to do a rebellion in China, and all of a sudden you had to where Zero, you know, took advantage of this and, you know, stole the Empress and stuff like that. Well, in the course of this episode, you had it to where the, like, High Council type members of China stay like, oh, if you help us and you get the Empress back, we will, you know, make sure your charges don't apply to you. Like, we'll make you, you know, a free man, stuff like that. But as the episode progressed, we see how these, like, High Council members, they pretty much stab Xingqiu in the back, twist that knife a little bit, and say, like, fuck you all, you're gonna die. Let's summon the Britannia, you know, freaking princes and stuff and go kick the shit out of Lelouch. That's pretty much what happened at the end of the episode, and I don't know how I feel about that, because those Chinese Federation bastards, like, what the fuck? Like, They, seriously, just... Why would you want to kill off such a very, very good soldier? Like, Zenku, man, like, he was really helping him out. He had a lot of tactics going on in this episode. Like, he was outsmarting Lelouch in some aspects, but they decided to stab him in the back. And it just, it makes me curious, why are these people so stupid? Like, why would you want to kill off a dude that was really helping you out that much, and most likely was going to help you if you managed to get the Empress back and stuff like that? But, stupid people, you got it. It's just like, what the fuck? So... episode overall, as always, animation very good, music, oh, love Code Geass music, and I wonder if I'm going to get a new opening song very soon. Like, we're on episode 10, I think this episode 10 I'm currently reviewing. I wonder if I'm going to be getting a new opening song in about 2 to 3 episodes, because I'm curious to hear it. I mean, I like the opening song of Code Geass Season 2, but it's not as good as the first opening song from the first season. I personally prefer that, but I wonder when I will be getting a new opening song, because I can't wait to actually hear it, and a new ending song at that. But, episode, though, it was good. I mean, it was action-packed, tactics everywhere, strategy going on, Lelouch, you know, being outsmarted and having to fake, like, he was willing to sacrifice more of his men and sacrifice his entire country to save Colleen in this episode, which shows you development of Lelouch, which was quite surprising to see something like that. And I was taken aback to see how Lelouch was willing to go out of his way to save Colleen out of everybody else. Like, everybody looked at him like, what the fuck is wrong with you? So to see how he did that, it just shows you once again how much, you know, Lelouch has kind of not changed through the course of the series. I mean, he straight up is an arrogant bastard that kills people. He's killed a lot of people. But at the end of the day, Lelouch is still that same person we know from the first episode. And that's quite shocking, because when it comes to series that come to rebellion or, you know, rising up against the Empire and stuff, and you have to cheat your way to get to a certain position, usually we will see a drastic change in a character's, you know, personality. For instance, you know, Light Yagami from Death Note. And I'm quite shocked Lelouch is able to hold on to his sense of humanity as he had it when he first started the series. And to see how he's still willing to save Colleen in this episode, it just makes me respect Lelouch a lot more as a character. So, oh yeah, speaking of Lelouch, at the end of the episode, you see Lelouch at the school. And we know Lelouch is Zero currently fighting in China right now, so like, what the fuck? Like, so I'm going to take a theory, I'm just going to guess here. I'm going to assume that the person that looks like Lelouch, because I know for a fact that I highly fucking doubt that is Lelouch, I'm going to assume that that person is Rollo. You know Rollo that uses, like, the time stop thing and it stops his heart and shit, as we found out? Well, I'm willing to bet that is Rollo dressing up, but it still doesn't explain how he was able to get taller. Like, how do you do that? Like, how do you make yourself taller? Yeah, Rollo's pretty freaking short. Like, he is short, so there should be no way in hell he should be able to be that tall, disguising himself as Lelouch, unless he has stilts on, but then, like, what the fuck? So, I wonder what that is. Or is it a new person with a code, like a Geass? I was gonna say Code Geass, what the fuck? Like, I wonder if it's a new person with a Geass in. Maybe he can have some form of disguises, manipulate someone's vision, or they could see someone else. Maybe that's a possibility. But we'll have to see in the next episode. I love y'all so much. You have a wonderful day or night wherever you live. Please be safe. Chibi out.